Look up from your telescope, take me on this journey home.
Welcome to Is It Wrong to Watch So Much Anime with Jason and John, as we give you a quick 15 to 20 minutes of inside opinion and updates about the world of anime as we see it. This program is brought to you by the Parker Williams Branch, a Harris County Public Library. Let's go over the rules. This is a planned topics podcast. We will try and stick to the topic at hand and not have too many tangents. Number 2, while recording, we will have a 15-minute timer. We will try to wrap everything up within that 15 minutes. If we are having a good conversation towards the end of that time, there will be a bonus 5 minutes to wrap it up. Number 3, if the conversation is still too good to stop, we will stop recording that episode and start recording an overtime episode back-to-back released on the same day. And a fair warning, spoilers happen. Oops, our bad. Hello and welcome to Is It Wrong to Watch So Much Anime, a show that we created for watchers like you and commenters like us. I am John, this is Jason, and our special guest today is Ariel, who goes by Jupiter.
Hello.
Why are you named after a planet?
What?
Why are you named after a planet?
I like it.
Regardless, we're going to start the timer so that we stay on track. And time to start. So our topic today is Avatar: The Last Airbender. Now the major question is it considered an anime or is it not considered an anime? Well, according to Crunchyroll, it is not considered an anime. And you ask why? It's got a story arc, it's got great animation, it's a really great show. Well, the reason is because it wasn't produced in Japan. So we're going to go by the Crunchyroll definition where if it was produced in Japan, it is considered anime. But we're going to talk about it anyway because it came to Netflix. Legend of Korra is on Netflix, and it's a show that we really, really like.
Because it's really, really good. As far as I knew, when I was like, 8, and I got up at Saturday mornings to watch a bunch of cartoons like Pokemon, Yu-Gi-Oh! I liked them. I was just thought, hey, these are cool cartoons. It's not till now when I started watching where it's like, oh, this is anime? Oh.
Yeah, same for me. I think I only know the general mainstream anime that everyone kind of watched on TV.
Mm-hmm.
I never delved into everything that you guys mentioned. I know nothing about. But Avatar, I do love and know about.
So I don't think the question of whether it's anime or not is as important as it is, do you like it? I liked it, so.
So why is Avatar so great? Well, one of the reasons that I mentioned before is that it is a show that builds upon itself. Now, some shows, especially in the American cartoon nature universe of being, you watch something from season 1, you watch something from season 3, you watch something from season 5, and they all fit together. There's no character development, there's no real story development either. In Avatar, it's 3 separate seasons in which one episode builds on the next. So just like any standard anime show that, doesn't have any filler, it builds on the next so that you get a distinct beginning and a distinct end where if you end up watching an episode in the middle, you'll be completely confused.
Yeah, I actually like those kind of shows. Picking up a show that you can do whenever is fine, but I like the stories that build onto each other because then you get. Did we put the spoiler warning? Whatever, it'll be there. You get to episodes like the very end of Avatar with Sozin's Comet where it's all been built up to this, and it's amazing. But then, I don't know, if you watch any episode of The Simpsons, there's no build-up, there's nothing there. You can watch it, it'll be funny, but that's it.
Yeah, that makes sense.
So some of the great things about it are like Aang's conflict over earthly attachments. So he basically gets stuffed up with, there are these people that I love on this planet, and I can't just disconnect from them just because I'm the Avatar.
And it makes it so much harder for him because he just lost everyone he knows, his entire people.
Yeah.
And so when he finally does connect with someone, Sokka and Katara, he can't let them go. It must be too difficult.
Then another big arc is Zuko's struggle with identity and self-worth. So, he always says, I was the perfect prince. And granted, the voice actor is the same as Robin, so whenever I hear it, I honestly hear Robin. But I mean, perfect acting is great. I love it. But
That
it's
voice
just
actor also does the voice for Zuko's grandson in Legend of Korra.
I haven't gotten there yet.
It's really great.
Legend of Korra on Netflix. You can watch it now.
I think stuff like Zuko's character is also what helps make the show great. It's that kind of relatability because these are people that have fire powers. I wish I had fire powers. I will never have fire powers unless I light myself on fire, and that's a whole different thing. But even with all that, you know, saving worlds and stuff, it's a lot about the individual people. So Zuko is probably the most complex one out of all of them because
Him and his sister, yeah.
he wants to be his own person, but he still wants like his approval from his dad.
Yeah.
He wants to go back to being a part of the Fire Nation. So it's that kind of conflict and stuff that's like my bread and butter because I like that stuff.
Another thing, I think Zuko and Aang they were meant to battle and then become friends. Because a lot of the show is always mentioning balance, yin and yang, and it kind of seems like they are yin and yang. They're their own.
Well, and then fire feeds from air.
Yeah. That kind of relatability is also, I think, what makes the show. It's over 10 years old at least, right? So it's that old, but it's still prevalent just everywhere to this day.
All right. So another thing that makes it great is that bending is amazing.
It's amazing.
I mean,
Fire powers.
fire, air, water, earth. I mean, I would take any of them versus nothing. Preference being probably either water or air, but you know, I would take earth or fire. I don't care. I'll take any of them.
I would take water because bloodbending.
Okay, but that's because she's evil and wants to be a villain. Personally, I like the sub ones of earth and fire, which is metal bending, which we're probably going to show right there.
Yeah.
Just because if you've seen Legend of Korra, you see how they use it. They're basically Spider-Man without the spider bites.
Well,
and I don't like spiders. So.
Or conversely, they could also. I mean, it's very Attack on Titan. You look at them doing like the metal bending. It's just like Attack on Titan. Makes you think, yeah, where did Attack on Titan get this?
That and the lightning.
Yeah, the lightning is really cool.
We'll talk about that in a second. All right,
I
so
wanted that. Sorry.
to make some other library connections, since this is a library show, so you've got the metal bending, but then you have to look at, you know, where else do we find metal bending? It's like X-Men. So the X-Men comics have Magneto. Magneto can control anything with metal. Another thing is, she mentioned the blood bending. So it's like a subset of water bending is the water inside your veins, blood.
Again, she's training to be a villain.
Mm-hmm.
Do not follow that example, kids. That's like the evilest type of bending. Go
So-
for lightning.
Uh-huh. So
Set people
there,
on fire.
there is a author, Leigh Bardugo, who does a series called the Grishaverse. The first book is called Siege and Storm, and as the books progress, and hashtag spoiler alert, one of the characters, Nina Zennek, learns how to do pretty much blood bending. She's what's called a heart render, so they can control people's heart circulation and stuff like that. So they can slow it down and make you pass out, or they could just like crush. Then there's also lightning, which is the subset of fire, which has a direct anime connection. Because if you're watching Fire Force, you can see, well, either season 1 or season 2, on the good side, you have Arthur, you know, King of Knights.
He's dumb as a sack of rocks. But he's
But-
got some cool powers.
Yeah, he's got a plasma sword, and plasma is pretty much lightning. Then you've got Humera, who's on the evangelist side,
And
and
the bad guys.
yeah, she actually does shoot lightning. I don't know, she could like shoot it out her fingers.
You
Yeah.
can probably do special effects to make your fingers shoot out lightning. You should try it.
Moving on to Legend of Korra. So Legend of Korra just came out on Netflix. You can view all 4 seasons?
Yes.
4 seasons. I just started watching it, and I think it's fantastic.
I like how they modernized it. Not, all the way into how it is now, but how they have cars
Mm-hmm.
and stuff and high-rise buildings and all these other things. That's pretty cool.
The modernization that
It's a
came.
nice change of pace from the original one.
Well, it kind of shows that after Aang defeated the Fire Lord, that there's this whole revolution, kind of like this Renaissance time where all the different nations came together, combined their technologies, and combined all their different skills together to make a better world.
As the avatars are wont to do. That's what their job is. That's literally their job description. So,
One of the other things that's cool is the connections with the original characters. So it's like every one of the original characters had a family, and every one of, so they all have kids. And now you see the kids as the elders in the society that are trying to guide it, as Korra comes in to try and find her way in the world. Huh?
I don't know. I was just gonna say, you probably know more about their original connections, because while I like the show, I haven't rewatched it yet, even though they just put it on Netflix. So I know the main ones from Zuko's family that show up in Korra is his grandson, right?
Yeah. His daughter, Azumi is there too. I think it's his daughter. Really interesting is that Aang's first child is a non-bender,
Yes.
which is like
Boomy,
so surprising. Right? Yeah, Boomy.
They named him after his weirdo
Uncle.
kingdom.
King Boomy, yeah.
Yeah. I remember that one. We can skip those stories. But and then I like Toph's family when they finally get to her, because they're all completely different from each other.
The Bipons.
They're really hard-headed like her though.
Oh,
Yeah.
But some traits just get passed on. You can't skip them. That's one of them. I like when Toph showed up too.
Yeah, that was great.
Really cool.
And she
That was
even
one I didn't
recognized
expect.
Korra.
Because I knew Katara was there, fine, but then Aang was gone, Sokka was gone. I just figured she disappeared somewhere. So her showing up was really cool. But that's because Toph is amazing throughout both series.
So another thing that we see throughout the whole series is these characters' influence. Zuko coming in later, Toph coming back later, Katara, right?
Yeah,
Katara coming back later, and I actually like Aang's son a lot because you can see that stern, his dad's a complete goofball. Let's be honest. Yeah. And so he seems to have gotten the serious part of the family. But you can still see that even when somebody is screwing up or he realizes that he's wrong about something, he goes, all right, you know what, I don't need to be that way. So I actually like his character. I as an adult, find it relatable where, you find yourself in situations where you're trying to do the right thing and you're just not understanding the other person. Like he wasn't understanding Korra. And you come to the realization, hey, you know what? I need to work with this person more. I really like that kind of character development. And that's only in the first couple episodes.
He's also voiced by J.K. Simmons, who, if you don't know who that is, he's Bring Me Pictures of Spider-Man. Why did I did that because I forgot his name.
The newspaper guy.
J. Jonah James, that's the one. But I heard that, I was like, this is my favorite character now.
My favorite character is Uncle Iroh.
Yeah.
Especially because in Korra, they do bring him back and you get to see him again, but in the spirit world. And he's still serving tea.
That's his favorite. Isn't he playing, what does he always play? Tea
The
and...
Lotus, the Tiles game?
Yeah. Wasn't he playing that too? Or
Pai
is it just
Sho.
Tea?
Pai Sho, that's it.
But yeah, he's doing what he loves. He deserves it.
Mm-hmm.
He was probably my second favorite character. Yeah. But that's because he's got a lot of... He was the only person that actually cared about Zuko.
I know.
Yeah.
Again, plus.
His dad's a jerk.
Yes.
Yeah,
he
he's a
is.
nut.
Oh my god.
Master jerk.
But,
Jerks.
and then finding out that little... It's just one vignette in one episode, 50 episodes in. But how he remembers his son yearly. Like he goes up to that mountain and everything.
I guarantee you every person cries watching that episode.
No, I did.
Cannot
It's
help it.
so sweet.
So sad.
I can admit that. But yeah, no, I
So another factor like we were talking about is Republic City, how it's such this renaissance, this, fantastic place that everybody wants to be and be at.
I would be there. Seems pretty cool. If I could metal bend, because then I could just swing across everything.
But then, like,
Spider-Man.
every city, eventually, they get this turmoil of vendors against non-vendors.
Yeah.
And then you have these villains trying to bring it out more in the city to take over.
Which, if you want to see how that ends, it's on Netflix. You can watch.
All right, so now we got 5 minutes to wrap this up. One of the other things is instead of it being more Bender style fighting where it's one versus the other, they pretty much create a whole pro sport. And in this pro sport, it gives you a whole new style of fighting where they use that diversity in their city where it's, different kinds of benders. So you've got fire, you've got water, and you've got earth that are like on 2 different teams and they're fighting against each other. And it's a completely new fighting style compared to what Korra was taught. She was taught traditionally versus this new style.
Yeah, and because they kept her so sheltered, when she does get to the city, she's at a real disadvantage because she doesn't know their fighting style. They have the hand up on her.
Well, she doesn't know anything when she gets to the city, to the point where she pretty much gets in trouble because she doesn't know how society works now. And she's the Avatar, she kind of needs to know this. Our last little topic here is a little project called Legend of Genji. This is a fanfic version of the whole Avatar universe that is on Tumblr. And it's like different graphics and pictures and scripts and stories. And it's fantastic. So much like how Harry Potter has its own fanfic like universe and Star Wars has its own fanfic universe. It's like this, great source to take the story from where Korra left off, Genji being an earthbender because that's the next in the cycle. Then you get all these new stories written by fans like us.
Who are way more detailed, so they would write that way better than any of us could. The stories also go past like just the TV shows because there's comics that follow both of them.
The original Avatar gang, yeah.
Past where the show ends, and then I think they started writing a book too, right? That was
Kyoshi, yeah, the Rise of Kyoshi.
Yeah, which we have in our system, so you can check it out. But I've heard that those are really good too, so I need to read those.
All right, I think that's all we have for today. Next week we're going to talk about, or in 2 weeks, we're going to talk about the fall lineup for 2020. So
There's some good stuff on there.
talking about some of the continuing stuff like is it wrong to pick up girls in the dungeon? Our namesake, season 3. Junito.
That's the correct answer. It's not wrong.
Yep. As well as Demon Slayer, Mugen Train, and Haikyuu. I guess it's season 5, but they call it To the Top
It's the second
Part
half.
2.
Whatever they just aired. Yeah.
All right.
They split it into different things because of the pandemic. So, but the show's really good. So you should watch it. It's also on Netflix for the first few seasons. And Crunchyroll. And VRV. It's a lot of places. You should watch it.
Legally.
Yes. Legally.
All right. Well, and the library does have some of the DVDs in our system. So
We have
if
the
you
manga
want
too.
to, if you want to do the manga or you want to do the DVDs, just place holds on hcpl.net and it'll come to you. All right. Any final remarks?
Nope. See ya.
All right. We have made our 20 minutes.